Hi there, this is Jeff Vick with Record Harvest, and today we get to spend a little time with our friend Mitch, Mitch Eviston. He's the driving force behind Meristem, and we became friends. It was about three and a half years ago where Record Harvest and Meristem started this relationship together. And from the first time that I really got to know Mitch, that I heard the story behind the story, I've always wanted to be able to sit down with Mitch and let him just share his heart with you. Unfortunately, he can't be with us today. He had a previous commitment. Mitch, watching the rise of Meristem has been nothing short of amazing. And just think a few short years ago, it was a dream. It was just a crazy concept of how you could disrupt big ag industry and, more importantly, serve the local farmer even better than you were before. So I think it's safe to say that the dream has come true. And you know what many of us may not know are all of the circumstances that led to the creation of Meristem. So today, what we want to do is take a few minutes and just let you share your story. So I vaguely know a little bit about it, but I really can't wait to hear it firsthand from you. So, Mitch, before we turn back that clock and go back in time, take a minute and share with us nowadays, Meristem. How is it impacting the agricultural industry? And maybe more specifically, how is Meristem making farming better for our customers, the local growers, big, small, all of them that we call our friends? So I'll just let you take it from there, Mitch.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the relationship with Record Harvest. Jeff calls it a dream. It was a dream, but it seems to be coming true. And I really give thanks to three constituents in helping get Meristem to where it is in such a short period of time. First and foremost, Jesus Christ. Without a question, I want to thank him first. He's performed miracles for me personally, my family, and this organization. I'd also like to thank our dealers. Without business partners like Justin and Jeff at Record Harvest, we wouldn't be able to get to you. And without you buying, there would be no relationship. So I want to say thanks to you. I want to say thanks to Record Harvest. And I want to say thanks to Jesus. I think it took all three to pull this together. Today we finished 2023 with about 110 million, right at 110 million, a little over that in revenue. We're profitable, and the way we've done it, Jeff, is doing more with less. There's amazing technology that's coming out today that's been on the shelf for years that has never been commercialized, that really don't line up with big ag. It takes less infrastructure. Well, if you take less infrastructure away from products and make them easier for farmers to use, then those that make a living off that infrastructure aren't very happy, because now you don't need as much from them as you have before, which allows you to run a more profitable operation. An example would be our Upshift C starter replacement. 1 pound of Upshift C replaces 2 gallons of liquid starter. Well, what's easier to handle? A pound of Upshift C or 2 gallons of liquid starter? Which one has a better environmental impact and which one's better for the soil? We check all those boxes with a product like Upshift C. So what we're doing is we're bringing innovations to market that are not only more cost effective from a substitution standpoint, but it requires not only less money, it requires less equipment, less labor, and less time. So when you look at our portfolio, it really went against supporting the big ag value channel, because what we've done is we've tried to focus on bringing products to market in a manner to you that allows you to enjoy extremely competitive pricing, while at the same time using new innovations like excavator, that we now know if you use excavator from Record Harvest, you can take 65 pounds of potassium and 20 pounds of phosphorus out of your product. So you spent $14 an acre, but you just took out 20 pounds of dry P and 65 pounds of dry K. That's 85 pounds of product that was just replaced with 12.9 ounces of product. That's doing less with more. And I think our vision around bringing new technologies to the farm gate that lessens your dependency on big retail, big infrastructure, allows you to achieve a better cost of production with really cutting line technology that most in the industry don't want to sell you. Because when you switch from lots of volume to a little bit of volume, and you go from needing all that infrastructure and equipment and warehousing and application equipment, and you can do it in the farm, well, what you've done is you've just taken money out of big ag. As a result, you're probably not going to see big ag wanting to bring you products to do more with less. Meristem is a startup. That's where we come from. Our mission was to improve your productivity, reduce your labor, reduce the dollars spent, and reduce the amount of infrastructure needed to grow a successful crop. So that's how we did it.
Love it, love it. So, Mitch, how many states, you guys are just growing astronomically. Do you even know how many states you're in right now?
I think at last count we were in 32 states.
32 states. Any idea how many acres you guys have covered?
Well, our biggest footprint product would be our adjuvant business, and our adjuvants are on about 10 million acres.
10 million acres. So, not quite a secret anymore.
No.
So, congratulations
No, well,
on
thank
that.
you.
One of the things that I appreciate about you, because I'm so new to ag, is every day is drinking out of a fire hose. Innovation, and all of the things that you guys are bringing to the industry. You've referenced a couple of them. So as we look in the crystal ball and we look forward, care to share any new exciting things that are coming down the pipe?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Hopefully, I'll be with you in person next year, and we'll all be talking about some exciting products that'll come out from Meristem this summer. You will be in our hopper throttle franchise, which has been very much focused on reducing the amount of fertilizer and particularly zinc that you need. Since we're putting the equivalent of 2 quarts of zinc per acre in our planter box, that's been a big piece, is being able to take that liquid zinc out or give the farmer who doesn't have liquid the opportunity to see what zinc does in furrow. Nutrient mobilizers, biostimulants like Meristem that build those big, robust, season-long roots. Those have all been very focused on replacement cost, that you can go from using as much fertilizer as you have in the past to using less, getting a better economic value, and in turn, comparative yields. What you'll see from us this summer is we'll begin to launch biocontrol products. So in soybeans, for example, for the 2025 planting season, Jeff, we will have in our Revline Hopper Throttle soybean pail cyst nematode protection and SDS protection. And we ain't convinced yet. It'll come one of these days. It might not be this summer, but a fungicide package that'll be delivered through the Revline Hopper Throttle soybean pail. And what we'll launch through there is both a fungicide and an insecticide in the capsules. So if you've used Revline Hopper Throttle and you understand how we house products in those biocapsules, what you'll start seeing us do is we'll for sure launch cyst and SDS this summer for planting 2025. We've got the inoculation in there. We got the biostimulant in there. We got the nutrient mobilizers in there. So what do we need to do to help you get away from liquid seed treatment? Well, we need to get cyst control, SDS control, fungicide, and insecticide control delivered through that planter box. We believe that we have a very strong chance by planning 2025 to have that done. And this summer, you'll be seeing from Record Harvest the products that we're launching. But again, it's biocontrol products that will replace or work in tandem with synthetic chemistry, which is going to do what? It's going to reduce your seed treatment costs significantly. It's going to lessen your need for that seed treatment infrastructure, which right now you're paying for. And now, through a simple little biocapsule in a pail, every one of you will be able to treat your own seed. What that's going to result in is a big disruption in the price point that you're paying today for seed treatments, because anything you're getting as a liquid seed treatment today, we're going to be able to replace, and I want to say not corn, but in soybeans. In soybeans, anything that's liquid today, we will be able to disrupt and replace that at a really big economic advantage to you through our planter box system and Revline hopper throttle soybeans. And corn, we'll launch corn rootworm this summer. So with our Revline hopper throttle with ether, we will have a product extension on that that will allow you to buy corn rootworm protection. This technology in low to mild infestation is a replacement for the trait. You do not need to spend money on the trait if your corn rootworm infestation is light to moderate. If you're in heavy infestation, we still want you to use the trait, and our corn rootworm product will be tremendous trait support for the GMO gene that you're currently planting. So instead of using that synthetic insecticide to support your trait where you may be getting breakdown from the bugs, we're now going to have a product that you can buy through Revline hopper throttle and meet that need. And in cases where you're in low to moderate pressure, our technology will allow you to move away from buying the trait. And what's that do again? Again, we're back to less for more. It's going to significantly drive the cost of your seed corn down when you don't buy the trait. And the way that we will market the corn rootworm, you will notice quite quickly you will do more for less.
You know, it's easy to hear all the innovation, all of the successes, and miss the most important part of the story, Mitch. Congratulations to you and your team. You've worked so hard over the last years. You guys have made so many personal sacrifices, made great strategic business decisions, you know, that has created Meristem and made it what it is today. You know, I want to take a minute. Let's turn the clock back, though. Let's turn it back to even before Meristem started. You know, all the appearances, you know, from where I'm outside looking in, you know, you were living a lot of the American dream. You know, big job, big company, and then you get some news that changes everything. Care to share any of that?
Sure, it was 2016. I'm a pretty big guy, farm boy from Indiana, and I started losing a lot of weight, and I felt terrible all the time, and I couldn't figure out why I was sick and why I was having all this rapid weight loss. And I went to the doctor, and next thing I knew, I was in an MRI tube, and I got a phone call, and they said, Mitch, you have liver cancer, and it is terminal. That rocked my world. At the time, I was senior vice president of Land O'Lakes. I was in charge of Winfield's seed and ag chem business. I guess that's been quite a few years now. We're going back 7 years. But upon getting that news, I went on disability and pretty much prepared to get myself ready to go to heaven. Hopefully I was already there, but I knew that my time was more than likely up. And then I got a phone call one morning in February of 2018. I didn't have a year to live. I was in pretty bad shape. I wasn't going to see another Christmas. And I'll never forget it. It was a February morning, about 6 a.m. A number I didn't know started calling my cell phone. And I didn't answer. I was asleep and didn't know the number, but they kept calling back time and time and again. And finally, I'm like, okay, I bite. I'm going to answer. I'm going to see who this is. And it was my next door neighbor. And she was crying, and I said, what's wrong? I thought maybe her husband had a heart attack or something, and what was I going to do to help? Well, she said, Mitch, the reason I'm crying is I just got off the phone with my brother, and my nephew just died in Arizona. His heart exploded at 27 years old. And I said, Belinda, well, I'm very, very sorry to hear that. She says, well, I wasn't calling to tell you about that. I was calling to tell you that my brother said you could have his son's name's Ignacio Chavez, and he said you can have Ignacio's liver if it's a match. Well, Ignacio was dead in Arizona, and I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I called the U of M and said, hey, there's a dead body in Arizona, and the family says I can have the liver. Well, they'd never heard of anything like that before, because all livers go through the transplant program. There's a donor bank, and it's very tightly monitored and done in all the right ways. But I actually skipped the liver donor list and was the second person in history to have a liver donated directly to me. I got that call about 6 in the morning, and at 5:30 that night, the medical team in Minneapolis had flown a private medical team down to Arizona, retrieved and confirmed everything was a go. And at 5:30 that night, they were wheeling me into the OR for a liver transplant, which 24 hours before I had no idea would be even a remote possibility. My mind had went from planning for really the future, but planning for my family's future. Everything at that point was focused on the will, the life insurance, making sure everybody was going to be in good shape when I was gone. Well, here comes this phone call. A couple days later, the surgeon comes in and tells me everything went really good. And I think I was 49 at the time. I'm 55 now. And the same guy that was telling me I wasn't going to see another Christmas looked at me and said, I do believe you can make it to 80 years old. Well, that screwed up all my plans, because I had it all figured out. I was going to die, and my family was going to be taken care of, and everything was going to be good. And then this doctor said I got 32 more years on this earth. That's when I had to reprogram my head and say, well, if I got 32 more years to live, I need a job, and what am I going to do? And coming from a lifelong career in agriculture, I knew some things needed to change, and never really felt like I was in a position to drive that change. But I felt like I was in a position to actually, after years in the industry, maybe do something that would be good for farmers. And I knew there were ways that weren't being brought to market that could advantage farmers, but Big Ag really didn't want farmers to have them. And I was a part of that game. And I understood that there was technology on the shelf that could really change the way people farm and change the economic structure at the farm level. Well, I knew that that would never get done through Big Ag, because these products mean less earnings for Big Ag. And nobody likes to do things for less earnings. So we had to start a new way of going to market. And that's the way it is with Meristem today. We go to market with local entrepreneurs who are vested in their local farmers' success. And we customize our marketing effort around our partners that call on those local communities to become local partners in that community and address the needs of these micro segments. And I think that's what you're seeing today with Record Harvest. I mean, tremendous crowd here today, getting ready to have a wonderful feed. As soon as Jeff and I are done, you'll get to have an awesome lunch. But Jeff, that's kind of the story behind the story.
I love it. You were totally given a second chance at life.
Oh yeah, I pinch myself every day.
That's fabulous.
The one thing it does, I'll tell you, it takes thinking you're gonna die and then finding out you're not. What it does is it changes your risk profile. Because for me to start this company, what was the risk? I was supposed to be dead. So that fear that consumes a lot of businesses about failure and not being able to make it, it wasn't there because I knew being alive was such a gift that I was never afraid to take the risk. Before cancer, there's no way I would have ever taken the risk. I had to go alive. I had a nice income, 4 weeks vacation.
Perspective is everything.
Everything looked like it was going pretty good, and again, it's weird to say. People look at me like I'm crazy, but the best thing that ever happened to me was getting liver cancer. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I haven't had a drink of alcohol in 6.5 years, and I've never had a better family life, and I've never enjoyed my professional career as much as I have done. And if it wasn't for liver cancer, I wouldn't have got all those things.
Well, Mitch, we need to wrap things up, and thank you for taking some time today. You know, some of the guys sitting in the room and ladies sitting in the room as well, you know, they've had some bountiful years last couple of years, and there are some of them that have endured through 2 very, very challenging drought-filled years. The economy of farming is challenging right now. The dynamics and input prices, you know, are challenging right now, and I'm always out there trying to take a good word to our customers when I'm out there. I start my day praying for divine appointments, not just appointments. And so wrap us up. Give us some hope. Give us a good word as we wrap this up today.
Well, God's got a plan for us all, and I think we ought to all just strive to live His will. And if we are, it's going to work out. No matter how bad things look, it's never over. That's what I've learned. It's never over. So don't ever give up. And do whatever the force tells you to do in your head. If you feel something and you know it's the right thing to do, don't let fear overcome you and hold you back. Do it, because it's right.
Mitch, thank you. Mitch and Meristem have helped to host a large portion of what we're enjoying today. So your generosity is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to years and years of our relationship ahead, Mitch.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.